Hold on to your hats, folks, because you're not going to believe the roller coaster of emotions we just witnessed. Ms. Martinez kicks things off with a bombshell, tearing open the case by spilling the beans on the heartache and familial rift caused by Mr. Hernandez's refusal to acknowledge their duo of offspring, Richard II, the sequel, and Renee, the remix. She's clinging to the hope that DNA results will be the magical glue to piece their fractured relationship back together. But folks, strap in, because we're about to hit a loop-the-loop in this wild ride.
Ms. Martinez, you say your family is torn apart since the defendant has denied both of your children, 4-year-old Richard II, 3-year-old Renee. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove the truth, that the results will save your relationship. Mr. Hernandez, you say you were suckered into claiming the plaintiff's 2 children and can't trust anything she's said.
Did your jaws hit the floor yet? Just when you thought it couldn't get more telenovela-worthy, Ms. Martinez drops a juicy plot twist by confessing to a spicy, albeit fleeting, rendezvous with Mr. Hernandez's buddy. This bombshell sends shockwaves through the courtroom, and you can practically hear Mr. Hernandez's doubts about being the daddy crescendo into a symphony of skepticism. But hold your popcorn tight, because this emotional roller coaster is just picking up speed.
Doing other things like
It's one incident he's talking about, Your Honor. It was a one-time thing. Me and his friend had messed around.
See? You see the stuff that I'm...
Wow. All right, so
was
you
always
stayed
honest.
with her.
Yes. I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but I mean,
And
it's
he
been
can't
so long
say that
now.
because even prior to that, I was always told him I didn't want to be in a relationship. He forced it. He was always like, come on, please be with me.
You could cut the tension with a knife. In a move that could rival any soap opera, Ms. Martinez admits to a risky tryst with another contender in the paternity sweepstakes, casting a shadow of doubt over Mr. Hernandez's role as father numero uno. This confession sends Mr. Hernandez into a whirlwind of doubt and confusion. Buckle up, Buttercup, because the next part is a doozy.
I told him about it. He still wanted to be with me.
She lied about it.
I did tell him that we did it protected. I did at the time.
I mean, why are you having all this unprotected sex?
I would
She's a
say
slut.
No. We're gonna be respectful in this courtroom.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Please don't get on my nerves.
you were still with me, right? Other than what I just told you right now about having intercourse, I wasn't having unprotected sex with everybody. Yes, that time I did. It was in the heat of the moment. He didn't have protection. One thing led to another, and it did happen.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more convoluted, the plot thickens as Mr. Hernandez's actions come under the microscope. Despite his sea of doubts, he went ahead and named the offspring after himself, Richard II, the presumed heir to the Hernandez throne, and even scribbled his name on the birth certificates. This move has everyone scratching their heads. Is this a sign of an emotional bond or just wishful thinking on his part? But wait, there's more. The soap opera level just hit overdrive.
And you signed the birth certificate.
Yes, Your Honor.
For both of my kids that he denied.
Do you have any evidence that reflects?
Yes, I do,
this?
Your Honor.
I'd like to see it. Ron, will you please hand me this paperwork? This is the birth certificate for Richard Anthony Hernandez II.
Yes.
Under father's name, Richard Anthony Hernandez.
But that, at the time, was, Your Honor, because I felt like he was mine at the time, and I loved him very much, and it didn't matter because I loved her that much.
Brace yourselves for a curveball. Out of nowhere, a mysterious figure from Ms. Martinez's past, potentially the real-life stork for their second munchkin, makes a grand entrance at the hospital, right as baby numero dos makes their world debut. This plot twist sends Mr. Hernandez's mind, and possibly yours, into a tailspin of doubt and suspicion. The drama meter is off the charts, but the next twist, it's gonna floor you.
The man that she named after him, just all of a sudden, as soon as he's born, called me and says, hey, I'm outside. And I was like, whoa, how did this man call me right now? I haven't spoke to him in months. Call me. Why would he even be outside? I get down there, I'm talking to him. He wants to come upstairs and, hey, can I see your son? Well, you didn't do this with my first son. Why would you want to come over here and see my son?
I don't know.
It was 8 o'clock in the morning when my son's
once
born.
again, I'm talking.
8:30.
He didn't sign the birth certificate till after his friend left. So once again, if there's all this doubt, why did you sign it again?
Prepare to be flabbergasted. In a jaw-dropping, feel-good moment of truth, the court unveils the DNA results, and lo and behold,
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hernandez, you are his father. So you are the legal father?
in what world did we land? The episode kicks off with Ms. Thomas and Mr. McKee in the hot seat, painting a picture of modern love-turned courtroom drama. They met online, where most fairy tales start nowadays, right? But when a baby entered the picture, Mr. McKee hit the brakes faster than you can say, swipe left. The courtroom's tension could cut through a block of cheese.
Ms. Thomas, you and the defendant, Mr. McKee, met on an online dating website, and the conversation quickly jumped offline and into Mr. McKee's bed. You believed you were in a committed relationship relationship with the defendant and was devastated when he denied your pregnancy.
I mean, come on, this is getting juicy. Mr. McKay is adamant he's not the father, eyeing the baby like it's an alien from Mars. The court's atmosphere gets thicker with anticipation, and you can almost hear the collective audience's gasp, waiting for the next bomb to drop. And oh, it's about to get as bombastic as a reality TV show season finale.
That there is no way you could be the biological father of the plaintiff's son, Carson. You claim once you look at Miss Thomas's son, you were 100% sure that her baby belonged to another man. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
You're not ready for this level of soap opera. Ms. Thomas dives into the story of their whirlwind romance that sounds like it was straight out of a cheesy rom-com, minus the happy ending. She thought they were heading for a white picket fence future, but Mr. McKee had left the chat. The plot thickens, folks, and my popcorn is ready.
And then I started going to see him, maybe like a 45-minute drive from where I live, like every other day. So I'm assuming like I'm spending the night, staying the night with him, things like that.
And you're having a good time, getting to know one another.
Yeah.
You all obviously, since you're spending the night, already started having sex.
Yeah, right.
And so, what did you like about him? What were you drawn? Kind?
His looks. He's not a bad-looking person. He looks.
Oh, the plot twist we have in store for you. Mr. McKee takes the stage with his side of the story, which sounds like he's reading from the playbook of Commitment Phobes Anonymous. The drama escalates as he spills the tea, and we're here for it, sipping slowly, because this is the kind of tea that scalds.
Tell me about it, though. You know, a lot of times we're in situations like this where there are two people on two different pages. I hear a lot of times when women say, you know, I was committed to him, and then the man will say, well, I wasn't committed to her, or even vice versa. Sometimes, you know, the man is committed and faithful, and the woman is. Did you know Miss Thomas wanted to be in a relationship with you?
Not really, Your Honor, but...
Did you all ever discuss being in a relationship?
No, ma'am.
Hold on to your hats. It's about to get wilder. The tale of the pregnancy reveal is straight out of a telenovela, complete with blocked numbers and ghosting. Ms. Thomas's solo pregnancy journey could have its own spin-off show. The audience is on the edge of their seats, and so am I, because who doesn't love a good cliffhanger?
So about a month you would drive to go see him?
Like every other day I drive, like at nighttime I put my kids to bed, I go see him until it's time for them to go to school. I wake up and be back home before my kids wake. I didn't do it every day.
And so after this month, Mr. McKee, you're in this casual relationship. She's driving to come see you. You don't feel like you're ready to make a commitment. At some point, you find out you're pregnant. And when you find out, you call Mr. McKee and tell him?
Yes, ma'am.
This roller coaster has more loops than you anticipated. Post-birth, the drama doesn't skip a beat. Mr. McKee looks at baby Carson like he's trying to solve a Rubik's Cube, hinting the baby looked like Donald Trump was the cherry on top of this comedic sundae. The court's atmosphere feels more like a comedy club at this point.
She sent you a text with the picture of the baby. Your first response was what?
The baby look like he can be for Donald Trump.
Like, really?
Oh.
Really?
I didn't expect that one.
He thinks the color makes a difference. The color don't make a difference.
I think what you're saying is you thought the baby was biracial?
Are we sure this isn't a scripted reality show? The saga continues with Mr. McKay's casual approach to life, seemingly auditioning for the role of most unbothered man in the world. Ms. Thomas, on the other hand, is aiming for sainthood with her patience. The suspense is killing me, but not as much as this comedy gold.
But what if he's not mine, Your Honor?
What if he is not?
I apologize if it's not, but I'm 100% sure.
So when is the first time you met Carson?
I think he was like
a week old.
So now when you got there and you saw the baby, talk to me about how you felt.
Same way he's feeling now. He questioning, like, are you sure? Is it mine? Why is his skin color?
That's like when we went and took the blood test, we stopped at a store. She went in the store first.
You can't make this stuff up, folks. Just when you think you've seen it all, Mr. McKay drops a bombshell that he could be starting his own reality TV show with not one, but two sisters pregnant at the same time. This plot twist needs its own theme music, and I'm thinking something circus-themed.
They're both your girlfriend?
Like two sisters.
Wait a minute.
Right.
Did you just say you have two sisters pregnant in the same family?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. McKee, you up here lying. Are you serious?
You want me too?
Yes, Your Honor.
Two sisters in the same family, they both having your baby at the same time?
Probably a month apart.
Wow.
Mr. McKee, please tell me you're not gonna end up in this courtroom again.
I might be, Your Honor.
The grand finale is upon us, and it's a doozy. The verdict is in, and it's more surprising than finding out your blind date is actually a distant cousin.
Has been determined by this court. Mr. McKee, you are not the father.
Are you serious?
He is not the father, Miss Thomas.
In the blue corner, weighing in with a ton of marital baggage, it's the case of Baker vs. Baker, folks. The episode jumps right into the deep end with Ms. Baker laying it all on the line, her marriage teetering on the edge of a cliff because of today's DNA result. She's gunning to prove that Caleb, the 3-month-old wonder kid, shares DNA with Mr. Baker, who's firmly in the camp of "that's scientifically impossible, buddy," due to a vasectomy he had when dinosaurs roamed the earth. If Caleb isn't his, Mr. Baker is hitting the road, leaving drama and possibly diapers in his dust. The anticipation is thick enough to cut with a knife, folks.
Ms. Baker, you say the fate of your marriage is riding on today's DNA result. You are suing to prove that your 3-month-old son, Caleb, was fathered by your husband, Mr. Baker.
Yes, Your
And
Honor.
Mr. Baker, you say it's medically impossible for you to have a child, and therefore Caleb cannot be yours. You say if the DNA results prove you are not the father, you will leave your wife and family.
Hold on to your hats, because Ms. Baker's about to take us on a wild ride through Boozeville. She spills the beans on her nights spent painting the town red, blacking out, and not knowing if she played the field during those lost hours. Mr. Baker's eyebrow is raised so high, it's practically in orbit, wondering if their love was built on shaky ground all along. But wait, there's a twist coming that'll make your head spin.
At the time I got pregnant, I was drinking quite a bit. I was drinking pretty much every day, and I was blacking out at night, and I wouldn't remember periods of time I wouldn't remember.
Whether you were intimate with another man or not.
Yes, Your Honor. It's not fair to Mr. Baker.
Mr. Baker dives into their love story, which sounds more like a spacey soap opera plot. They met while he was playing handyman in her house, both of them already hitched to other folks. It's like a country song in the making. Y'all, they danced the infidelity tango, causing a whole lot of heartache and stirring up a dust storm of trust issues. But don't grab your tissues just yet. There's more drama ahead than a season finale of your favorite series.
Before this, was there a lack of trust in the relationship?
Felice and I had gotten together. The way that we got together was I had done some work in her home, and that's the way that we met. And we didn't do everything right. And I don't condone the actions that we took in our relationship. I was married, she was married. You have two people who are in a monogamous relationship come together the way that we did. There's always going to cast doubt on the back of your mind.
Just when you thought it couldn't get crazier, Mr. Baker drops a bombshell. He thought Ms. Baker's baby bump was actually a cancer scare. Yeah, you heard that right. From visions of diapers to nightmares of disease, their emotional roller coaster had more loops than a pretzel. The plot thickens as they navigate this medical mystery, with the audience clutching their popcorn in suspense. You'll never guess what's coming next.
Back in 1991, while she was pregnant, I had a vasectomy. And so based upon the research I have done regarding vasectomies, once the procedure hits the 20-year mark after a vasectomy, you've got to question, is it even possible for me to even conceive a child?
Enter Dr. Gator, the medical wizard, ready to drop some knowledge bombs. She talks vasectomies, sperm counts, and the slim chances of Mr. Baker breaking the dad code again. Ms. Baker's clinging to hope like a cat to a curtain, believing in miracles and divine baby-making interventions. Just when you think you've seen it all, the court turns into a biology class with a twist. Brace yourselves. The finale is going to be a doozy.
You were in your 40s.
Yeah, 45. So, and you know, because of everything and he doubted it, we at least took 20 ultrasounds. We went and had 20 ultrasounds of the 3D, 4D to see what the baby looked like, to see if it looked like him.
Really wrap your head around the fact that your husband's 49. That already, I mean,
Yeah,
as men age, their sperm count dwindles as well. Not just women.
that's true.
Cue the dramatic music as the DNA results are finally unveiled.
Has been determined by this court. Mr. Baker, you are the father.
Kicking things off with a bang, or should I say a soap opera cliffhanger, we're introduced to the world of courtroom dramas with the case of Pitchford Kendricks versus Saavedra. Mr. Pitchford Kendricks struts in, all eager beaver, to claim his title as the father of Ms. Saavedra's 2-month-old bundle of joy, Javier. And, as if ordered straight from a daytime TV menu, there's a wild threesome twist involving a cousin. Because of course, there is.
Mr. Pitchford Kendricks, you opened your case to prove that you are the biological father of the defendant's 2-month-old son, Javier. You claim she is denying paternity only because she wants to be with another man and needs him to be the father.
Grab your popcorn, folks, because Mr. Pitchford Kendricks is about to take us on an emotional roller coaster. He's here to win the Dad of the Year award, sharing his heart-wrenching story about growing up fatherless and his grand plans to break the cycle with Javier. To seal his dad deal, he whips out a gift for the little guy, turning the courtroom into a tear-jerker scene. This paternity test is more than just a legal formality. It's his moment to shine.
You admit you allowed 2 men into your bed at the same time, but you are convinced that Mr. Pitchford Kendrick is not Javier's biological father. So, Mr. Pitchford Kendricks, you say proving paternity is extremely important to you.
Grew up in the streets of Detroit, no dad in my life, and I just want to make sure my son doesn't have to grow up like I did.
It's a beautiful basket there. You brought that for your son once you prove your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And now for the juicy backstory. It's like peeling an onion, layers of drama and tears. Mrs. Saavedra steps into the spotlight, confirming the threesome, but casting doubt over Mr. Pitchford Kendricks' fatherhood credentials. We're treated to a saga of tangled relationships and questionable decisions, including how one steamy night led to this paternity predicament. The plot thickens, folks.
It started like this. Me and Greg met each other through he was dating a roommate of mine. And he came over one day. We did end up hitting it off, and we was cool. Ended up having sex.
Okay, that's Three's Company, right? Y'all too young to know that show.
Speaking of Three's Company, when me and the man that I believe is Javier's father, Maurice.
Diving into the deep end, the court unpacks their spicy encounters, pondering if Mr. Pitchford Kendricks could indeed be Javier's bio-dad. It's like navigating a maze of infidelity, mixed signals, and relationship mishaps. The courtroom feels more like a drama club, analyzing love triangles and emotional baggage.
You were dating a woman, you ended up sleeping with her roommate. Then you developed a friendship with that roommate, and then she asked you to introduce her to somebody, so you introduced her to your cousin.
Yes, ma'am.
But then,
Yes, Your Honor.
her and your cousin invited you into their bed to have a threesome when their relationship needed spicing up.
Yeah, like that.
Just when you think it's all been said and done, Ms. Saavedra throws another curveball. She's been pregnant, shocker, and there's a paternity question mark hanging over Maurice, Mr. Pitchford Kendricks' cousin. The timeline of events is murkier than a mystery novel, sparking debates and adding fuel to the fire of this family feud.
You find out you're pregnant.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do then?
I contacted Maurice, told him I was pregnant.
Okay, so you contact the guy that really was your boyfriend.
Yes, Your Honor.
So when you told him you were pregnant, did he say, it's not my baby, it's Mr.
He didn't say anything to the degree at the time. We talked about it later on.
Afterwards, he called me trying to act like, man, these old babies over here, dog. I'm telling you, when I see you, dog, it's on, man. Got me over here taking care of your babies, cuz.
The emotional temperature soars as everyone braces for the big reveal. Mr. Pitchford Kendricks, ever the optimist, is ready to dive headfirst into fatherhood, despite the twisted soap opera that is his family life. The courtroom turns into a therapy session, dissecting the messy dynamics and the sheer impact of this whole ordeal on their personal identities. It's a roller coaster that nobody signed up for, but everyone's riding.
I know he's not the father. I do.
And how do you know that, Miss Saavedra?
Because me and Gregory wasn't messing around in May. I conceived in May.
It was April.
Right, and I conceived in May.
Okay, let me go to my exception calculator, because you all just all over the place. So Javier's birthday is January 9th, 2019. Press calculate. Conception window is between April 12th and April 18th.
Cue the dramatic music for the grand finale. The paternity results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Pitchford Kendricks, you are not the father.
Ms. Adams storms in, kicking the door open like she's about to duel at high noon in an old Western bar, and points at Mr. Spencer, declaring him the champ of being world's greatest dad to her cheeky but cute 13-month-old twins. It's a love mess so big it could make a TV drama writer jealous. There she stands, as sure about him being the dad as a cat is sure the sun exists just to shine on it. She's not just stirring the pot, she's making the courtroom feel like we're watching primetime TV, complete with snacks, shocked gasps, and a jury that's probably thinking they've stumbled onto a drama set. Buckle up, it's about to get wild.
Ms. Adams, you say you were caught in a love triangle, and now the defendant doesn't believe he fathered your 13-month-old twins, Kamarian and Kamariana. Mr. Spencer, you say the plaintiff needs to make up her mind about who her children's father is. You state that another man was claiming the babies were his.
Just when you think it can't get crazier, boom, we're flying high on the next twist. After a messy, ice cream eating, Adele soundtracked breakup with an ex, Ms. Adams and Mr. Spencer's hookup is as wild as Jell-O in an obstacle course. Their love's bumpier than a boat in a storm, leading to a dad mystery that's as addictive as a hit TV game show with a surprise ending. Thought you'd seen it all? Grab more popcorn. The fun's just starting.
Well, to be honest with you, I got caught up in a love triangle because I was with the same man for 13 years. I had separated. When we separated, I had kind of going through my vulnerable stage and things like that. I had went out actually one day, to the bar, and that's when I had met Marquis, things like that.
All right, so you were in a long-standing relationship.
Yes.
And then you broke up.
Yes.
Get ready for a shocker. Ms. Adams finds out she's hitting the jackpot in motherhood, expecting twins when Mr. Spencer was harder to reach than the top of Mount Everest. She dives in headfirst, betting everything that he's dad of the year. The plot twists up like a magic rope trick, turning this tale into an emotional maze.
Well, I had found out I was pregnant during the time that Markeith Spencer had went away. When Markeith went away, I had found out that same week that I was pregnant.
All right, the point you found out you were pregnant, who did you tell?
I told a family member of Markeith Spencer that I was currently pregnant and that I need to speak with him immediately.
So you told Mr. Spencer's family member?
Yes.
And you were confident at that time that Mr. Spencer was your child's biological father?
Yes.
Just when you're sure you've seen everything, in slides a twist that would make a TV drama jealous. The ex's family starts hinting the twins look a lot like Mr. Adams' old rival. This twist mixes the whole dad mystery up, making it part guessing game, part daytime TV drama, and totally nuts. And when you think you're catching your breath, the next shocker's about to whirl you around.
How did it get to the point where this become a paternity issue? How did we get here?
What happened, the way that my ex came into the picture is because once I had the babies, the pictures went out on the internet, and that's when my ex-mother called me and said that those are my grandbabies. They look just like my son.
And so once she said that, had you been thinking of that in the back of your mind all this time? Never.
Never.
The story veers off again when Mr. Spencer dives into the dad drama, shaking up his and Ms. Adams' relationship like a house of cards in a storm. Just a whisper of gossip and everything might collapse. But keep your snacks close. The biggest shocks are still to come, and they're mind-blowing.
It was like probably a couple months after I was away, I've been going, I talked to her, kept in contact with her the whole time, like her pregnancy or whatever, we talked, here's how she wanted me to come home, be a family with her, stuff like that, The communication was changing, like attitude was changing, everything. So I kind of knew it was like messing with Mitchell or is something going on, because you having an attitude more, like you ain't really keeping me up to date with these kids.
Boom, the truth hits like a movie's climax. Ms. Adams reveals she's been playing both guys like a pro, all to spark up an old romance. This confession unveils a deep game of emotional chess, showing just how wild this ride's been. But don't relax yet. The emotional roller coaster's just getting started.
Where are you in the story? You're telling both men now at this point is their twin?
After I had the babies, Markeith was around for the first month. Throughout that whole month, it was like so much drama. His ex, so much drama with him. It was like all over again.
Yes.
Because his mom called him. So he called me and was like, Christian, I'm hearing that it's a chance that those babies are mine. Is that true?
Now, for the heart-melting drama. Enter Ms. Jernigan, the grandma with a heart so big it could outdo the ocean, adding a depth to this crazy story that could win awards. Her role adds layers of family love and drama that pull at your heartstrings like the big finale of a talent show. As we head to the end, brace for an epic finish.
Jerome, will you please escort Ms. Jernigan into the courtroom? Jernigan.
Thank you.
So just to be clear, you are the mother of Mitchell, which is Ms. Adams' ex-boyfriend.
Yes.
And I have to ask you, do you believe these are your son's biological children?
Yes, I do. The first week that they was born, Kristen's mom called me. So she said, Barnett, look, take a look at the babies. Look at these pictures. Something ain't right.
And here we are at the zenith of our tale, the climax to end all climaxes.
Courage in the fact that in this moment we see this all the time, children getting used as pawns. Children getting used as pawns. We're gonna either get back with somebody or get back at somebody. You're admitting that you came in here today and you used your twins as a pawn.
Yes.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Spencer.
Swivels in her seat, and Ms. Ball, without skipping a beat, admits to her globe-trotting escapades, but stands her ground, declaring Mr. McCormick as Gavin's top-notch dad with the confidence of a cat meme. She's prepping the DNA results like a chef spices up a gourmet meal, cranking the drama dial to 11 and tossing in a habanero of intrigue into their soap opera saga. Brace yourselves, folks. It's about to get wilder than a raccoon at a camping trip.
Mr. McCormick, what do you mean she's a serial cheater?
Well, Your Honor, I found text messages. I've seen her getting in strange vehicles. I've seen videos. What haven't I found? There's no way that I could be this child's father. I'm starting to become numb to all this. It's getting old.
The plot thickens, and they're meandering down memory lane, waxing nostalgic over when their love was as fresh as morning dew, and the ultimate betrayal was snagging the last slice of pizza with extra cheese. This moment shines a light on Mr. McCormick's heartache, discovering Ms. Ball's adventurous side gigs, turning the emotional turmoil up to a tear-jerking level. But wait, there's more drama on the horizon.
I thought I had found the one, Your Honor. I was in love. She was good with my daughter. My family liked her. We like sports. We play sports together. I never thought she would cheat.
And I've admitted when I've cheated on you.
In a jaw-dropping twist, Mr. McCormick morphs into a private eye, laying out Ms. Ball's supposed secret meetups in an assortment of vehicles with a parade of suitors. Watching this unfold is like observing someone piece together a jigsaw puzzle blindfolded, emphasizing his detective work in uncovering the truth of their tangled tale. Hold on to your hats. The storyline's about to get thicker.
All right.
Okay, well, the first time, she said she was going to go to the gas station to meet a family member. I kind of stayed back, and then I was following her. I saw her getting to a truck of a strange guy. He was like 25 years old.
Is that you, or is that the strange guy?
That's the strange guy.
Okay.
I said, I saw her getting into a truck. I asked her who it was. She said it was another family member, which I know is like he's 60 years old.
Just when you think we've hit peak drama, bam, the closet's doors fly open, unleashing a whirlwind of skeletons as Mr. McCormick unearths messages and snapshots hotter than a ghost pepper challenge. This sends the scandal levels soaring through the roof, painting a lurid picture of their lives, turning into a daytime drama fest. The upcoming shocker is something you'll need popcorn for.
So is there anything else?
There was a time I came home from work and there was a text message on the phone. I picked up the phone, pretended to be Miss Ball, and texted some sexual stuff. They texted back. I texted, can we do the same thing that we did the last time we hung out? And he said some things, and that's when the picture of the junk came through. And that's what made me. So I know something was going on.
Oh, yes, something was going on.
I found some, pictures as well. There's some nudes, she said.
The narrative takes a deeply moving turn, with Ms. Ball stepping forward, her emotions on full display, ready to make peace for little Gavin's sake. Who might think his middle name is Scandal? Her impassioned monologue about marching towards a brighter future feels like a desperate cry for a narrative U-turn towards sunshine and rainbows. Yet, the emotional whirlwind has just begun.
You have admitted to cheating.
I have.
You said that. I've admitted it.
I've admitted the times that I was wrong. I think that because of the insecurities that I've created, that anything that he can't absolutely find an answer for, it creates doubt.
The point is, once you cheat, now that opens the door where we don't believe nothing you have to say. Right. I mean, that's just human nature.
When I see him with Gavin, and you look at them together, you see a picture of them together, they're twins. They look so much alike.
As the climax looms, with the story inching towards its finale, the spotlight falls on Mr. McCormick, entangled in a whirlwind of feelings concerning his and Gavin's path ahead. The air is so thick with tension, you'd need a chainsaw to cut through it, showcasing the gritty essence of their predicament. Hang on to your seats. The grand finale is just around the corner.
If Gavin is not your biological child.
If he's not my biological child, I might have to leave. I don't know. I'm pretty attached to him, Your Honor.
If you don't quit doubting me, you are going to leave. You have a great relationship with him. You know he's your son.
I mean, I
do love him. That needs to stop.
I love him.
If you love him, you're not going anywhere. He loves you. My little boy loves him, and I know he loves Gavin.
The climax hits you like a bolt from the blue, and bam, Mr. McCormick is unequivocally Gavin's dad. This bombshell revelation lands like a meteor, heralding a hopeful new era for their patchwork family, possibly peppered with group cuddles, and, dare we hope, a smidgen less melodrama. With this earth-shattering news, what's next could turn the tables on everything.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. McCormick.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are the father.
Thank you.
The saga begins with Miss Booker tossing a gigantic, glittery curveball straight out of left field, all about her so-called daddy dilemmas, courtesy of her mom's golden era of spinning a roulette of lovers like Mr. Booker, Mr. Chaussee, and possibly a few mysterious others. She's been giving the side-eye to her family portraits, puzzled over why she seems to be the ensemble's outlier, bearing an uncanny resemblance to Mr. Chaussee, as if she were his secret clone, rather than any blood of Mr. Booker's. This bombshell ignites a wildfire of long-buried family secrets and identity crises that have been festering since Miss Booker was just a wee lass, always questioning why she didn't quite fit the family mold. Just when you're convinced the story can't spiral any further into chaos, hold my drink, it does.
Miss Booker, you say that since you were a young girl, your mother had always told you the man sitting next to me, Mr. Booker, was your father. Then, when you were 13 years old, Mr. Chaussee admitted he could be your biological father. Mrs. Chaussee, you are Ms. Booker's mother.
Correct, Your Honor.
And you admit you were in an open open relationship with your ex-husband, Mr. Booker, while also seeing Mr. Chauncey.
Buckle up, because this roller coaster is just clanking its way up to the first drop. On a quest that smells distinctly of a daytime TV drama, Miss Booker, armed with nothing but sheer determination and possibly a handy detective kit, puts her mom, Eileen, and Mr. Chauncey under the proverbial spotlight. She's determined to solve the mystery of her paternity once and for all. As they navigate through a murky history of romantic entanglements and vehement denials, it becomes hilariously clear that Eileen's love life was more convoluted than a soap opera plotline. Miss Booker, powered by whispers of a mysterious adoption story from her siblings and confronting Mr. Chauncey with the fierce resolve of a primetime detective, dives headfirst into the tangled web of family secrets, unraveling them with the flair of a protagonist in a suspense novelle. And just when you think you've caught a breather, bam, a plot twist so shocking it'll knock your socks off.
My sisters would even tell me I was adopted all the time.
They would never tell you were adopted.
Yes, they did, Mom. They told me all the time it was just a joke.
No, they did not tell you were adopted.
Okay, Mom.
Well, I mean, you know, siblings can be cruel in that way anyway, but still, it probably would get under your skin if inside you already felt different. And there was also physical evidence that backed up their claim.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any wilder, strap in. Eileen decides to casually drop a nuclear-level family gossip bomb about Mr. Booker's adventurous proposal to jazz up their love life with a jaunt to a swingers club. This ill-fated escapade inadvertently catapults her into the arms, and possibly the bed, of Mr. Chauncey, her unexpected hero in this twisted tale. This bombshell revelation tears down yet another veil from the family's far-from-normal saga, proving Miss Booker's upbringing was steeped in more scandal and unconventional twists than the plot of a late-night telenovela. The drama skyrockets to stratospheric levels, preparing us for an emotional showdown that's sure to be for the ages.
How did you end up divorced from Mr. Booker and married to Mr. Chauncey?
Mr. Booker suggested a swingers club to try to fix our marriage.
A swingers club to fix the marriage?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Now, I did not want to do this at all. I had to get half drunk, to be honest with you, to walk into this place. But he said, as a last-ditch effort, Eileen, let's try it.
The plot thickens so much you could cut it with a knife. The zenith of drama is upon us as Miss Booker, fueled by a cocktail of raw emotion and an unyielding pursuit of truth, stages a dramatic confrontation with her mom over the labyrinth of lies that's been the cornerstone of their family lore. Eileen, armed with nothing but hard-to-digest truths, and the family's collective struggle to confront their own ghouls and goblins, turn the emotional heat up to inferno levels. This revelation-packed showdown lays bare Miss Booker's deep-seated wounds from a lifetime of deception, setting the stage for a climax that's bound to leave jaws on the floor. Gear up for a finale that's nothing short of cinematic.
But I would like for my daughter to finally know the truth.
And I'm
It's been eating her up for 27 years. Yes.
As your daughter was growing up, told her Mr. Booker was her father.
Correct.
Now, was this because you had 2 other children with him and you didn't want her to feel like she was different?
And now, for the grand, tear-jerking, emotionally charged finale you never saw coming. The long-awaited DNA test results make their grand entrance, dropping like the hottest mixtape of the year, and lo and behold,
it has been determined by this court that Miss Booker's biological father is Mr. Booker.
Sorry, Mom. Mom, I'm sorry for all the things I'm sorry.
the grand opening. Ms. Luttrell steps into the limelight, armed with a lawsuit and a dream to unveil the identity of her biological father after decades of confusion and a less than helpful mother. She's convinced she's hit the jackpot this time, and honestly, with a family tree that's more knotted than the headphones in your pocket, who could blame her for seeking some clarity? Strap in. We're about to dive headfirst into an emotional whirlwind.
Ms. Luttrell, you found your case because you say after a lifetime of confusion of not knowing who your biological father is and receiving no help from your mother, you are now hopeful because you believe you have finally found your dad. Ms. Melody Luttrell, you say you are regretful that you cannot help your daughter in her search for her father, but hope that search ends today.
The air was so thick with tension, you could cut it with a knife. Emotional outpouring for DNA verification. Ms. Luttrell, with eyes brimming with hope, makes a heartfelt appeal to Judge Lake for a DNA test. She's desperate to connect with the man she believes after a hopeful match on Ancestry Ancestry.com could be her dad. This scene was so poignant, it could make even the statues in the courthouse lobby start sobbing. The anticipation is cranking up, folks. We're inching toward the epicenter of this enigma.
Yes, I believe that I found him because I did a DNA test through Ancestry.com.
And you have never met him?
No, I've never met him in person face-to-face.
Are you ready to see him for the first time?
Yes, I'm really excited. I really would like to see him.
As the narrative unfolds, every blink and sigh is loaded with significance. The awkward yet heartfelt first encounter. There's not a dry eye in the house as Ms. Luttrell and Mr. Leeks meet for what could be the first time as father and daughter in the courtroom. Mr. Leeks is visibly moved, a tender moment that hits everyone right in the feels. It's the kind of scene that makes you momentarily forget that the courtroom likely reeks of old coffee and palpable tension. Buckle up, the game is about to change.
How does it feel to finally see the woman who believes she's your daughter?
Feels good to see her.
That's wonderful. So can you tell me about your childhood, Ms. Luttrell?
My childhood was pretty rough, growing up with my mom being a single mom, very hardworking single mom, and my whole life I always wanted to know who my father was, so.
Piece by piece, the puzzle starts to come together, yet the full picture is still elusive. Melody Luttrell's eye-opening testimony. Enter Melody Luttrell, the mom, spilling the tea on her past liaisons and the possible scenarios under which Ms. Luttrell came into being. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, with each layer revealing the 70s equivalent of a relationship status mark. It's complicated on Facebook. But keep your hats on, the next bombshell is about to drop.
Yeah. Can you tell me about the coworker?
Yes, we dated and we got familiar with each other, and then it ended up in intimacy. I didn't know how to contact them, and I had moved as well.
All right. You also say that there was a classmate. Can you tell me about your relationship with the classmate?
We got to know each other in class, went out, and it had ended up also in intimacy.
We delve deeper, and the plot thickens with each revelation. Mr. Leeks' eyebrow raising skepticism. Mr. Leeks raises an eyebrow, and our suspicions, questioning the odds of him being Ms. Luttrell's father, pointing out age gaps and a foggy memory of the event in question. His doubt throws in a dash of intrigue, turning the whole scenario into a whodunit with a side of amnesia. Just when you think it couldn't get any more bewildering, hold on to your hats because the narrative takes a wild left turn.
You are 15 years younger than Ms. Luttrell. Do you remember this party and this one-night stand?
No, I'm just looking at it right now thinking, okay, it's nice to meet you, but, no, I was not at that party.
Were you ever at a party having sex with an older woman?
No. You know, if I'm having a child or anything like that, if I even know there's a chance I'll have a child, I'm sticking around.
Every tidbit shared adds a new dimension to this layered saga, a chat about genetic connections. The conversation veers towards the supposed DNA link between Ms. Luttrell and Mr. Leeks, with Ms. Luttrell clinging to similarities in looks and musical prowess as evidence of their relation. It's a mix of hope, desperation, and a bit of whimsy. Oh, you like playing the spoons? Me too. Must mean we're related. It's not exactly grounded in science, but it's a leap of faith. Brace yourselves. The climax is up ahead, and it's not what anyone saw coming.
If I was partying that good, that must have been a good party. I mean,
when I contacted his family members, they told me that, you know, he had a wild history before, so maybe he was partying, and that's why they really thought it's a possibility that he was my father.
So when you connected with his family, they basically said he had some wild years and that it wasn't inconceivable that he could be your biological father.
The air crackles with anticipation as we approach the moment of truth. The big reveal, DNA results. The climax hits like a freight train when the DNA results show.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Leeks, you are not the father.
Oh wow, the drama-laden Morris v. Brister is setting the scene for the high-stakes legal showdown. Both parties strut in, pumped and ready, as the court aims to untangle years of paternity confusion. Strap in because this roller coaster of legal antics is just leaving the station.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Morris versus Brister.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Mr. Morris, you say you are 100% certain that you are the biological father of the 29-year-old woman standing across the aisle and want this court to put an end to years of confusion, lies, and doubt.
Here comes the bombshell. Mr. Morris steps up, totally convinced he's the biological dad of Ms. Brister, a 29-year-old woman. He's all about slicing through the years of fibs and doubts that have messed with their vibes. And just when you think it's all out on the table, there's more.
Mrs. Brister, you say you don't believe Mr. Morris is your father and that you've been lied to by your mother, Ms. Smith, regarding is your biological father. Ms. Smith, you are here to support Mr. Morris's claim that he is your daughter's biological father, and and you pray today's results will heal old wounds.
Grab your popcorn. It's story time. Judge Lake cues Mr. Morris to dish out his reasons for believing Ms. Brister is his kin, setting the floor for some heartfelt monologues. Morris dives into his tale of emotional conviction, clinging to feelings over cold, hard facts. What's coming next? Oh, it's good.
When I met Mr. Smith this one evening as we were performing, I knew right then I wanted to be with him. One thing led to another, and I pulled him. Me and Mr. Smith, we did get together.
Let's rewind the love tape. Mr. Morris spills the tea on his old flames with Mr. Smith, Ms. Brister's mom, dating way back to 1984, featuring romantic entanglements and a shy guy caught in a love triangle. Brace yourself, the past gets even messier.
Well, actually, it didn't happen until the following evening because I had to get my cousin out of the way because I was, by me being shy.
3 was company then?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Understood.
ma'am.
All right, so you all started a relationship?
Yes, ma'am.
How long did the relationship last?
About 3.5 years.
Talk about a soap opera. Their love saga was a battlefield with rival suitors duking it out for Miss Smith's heart, stirring up the drama and complicating who might be the daddy. And just when you think you've seen it all, hold up, there's another twist.
It was. It's just I had to go through a lot of turmoil in order to be with her because she was a queen.
Because she
was a queen.
Okay.
There was a lot of different guys at her. And so, it was fight after fight with different people in the town that I didn't know nothing about. And
so was she with a lot of other people or just she had a lot of suitors?
A lot of suitors.
Guess who's back? After a 14-year hiatus, Ms. Smith and Mr. Morris are back in each other's arms, showcasing a tangled web of personal history that keeps evolving and affecting the big paternity reveal. Up next, the plot thickens even more.
After how many years?
14 years to be precise.
14 years.
Yeah.
And now you're back together.
Yes.
But there's still this paternity issue hanging in the balance. Yeah. Why? You say you were only with her. She said she was only with you.
I came back to town after hearing it from 3 different individuals that she was pregnant with my child at the time. And we stayed in 2 different towns. So when I heard it more than twice, I would say,
Timeline alert. Ms. Brister pulls out a timeline, walking the court through her mom's flip-flopping stories about who her real dad is, highlighting how this paternity mystery has been a real emotional roller coaster. Don't go anywhere. The emotional ride is about to go off the rails.
You brought an exhibit for the court?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it, please.
This is just timeline of some of the things that she's told me over the years. I've always known the man on my birth certificate to be my father. I was about 16. Mr. Morris, he came to visit. He introduced himself as my dad. I don't remember the entire conversation that we had, but I do remember him saying that he was my dad.
Memory lane or memory loss? Mr. Morris recalls a time when he embraced the father role during an extended visit, a memory that seems to clash with Ms. Brister's recollection of him bailing soon after his big dad reveal. What's next? Oh, it gets even more tangled.
I was in town for almost 6 months.
But were you father to her?
Yes, I was active in her life at that time, but she didn't live with us.
The last point on your board, your exhibit.
Yes, like I was saying, it went back to normal for me that the man who's on my birth certificate was my father. And a couple of months ago, my mom told me that Mr. Wood, the guy who's deceased, that he could possibly be my father.
Get your tissues ready. It's a tearjerker. Ms. Brister talks about the emotional whirlwind and the chaos of potentially having multiple dads, shedding light on the deep personal impact of this unresolved dad drama. Stay tuned because the emotional stakes are about to soar.
Ms. Smith, I need to ask you. I think it would even help your daughter more to understand why so many stories.
Just didn't want her I just didn't want her I was trying to protect her.
Is it because you knew that more than one man could potentially be her father? Or is it because you believed Mr. Morris was her biological father and he was living such a life outside the lines?
Yeah.
This is a game changer. Mr. Morris lays out the bizarre legal and personal twists that convinced him he was Ms. Brister's pops, including a plot twist involving child support papers while he was behind bars. You're not gonna believe what happens next.
What makes you so certain she is your biological daughter?
And I was incarcerated. Sheriff deputies there, they presented me with paperwork saying that I was being sued by Internal Revenue. I had the papers looked at by a law clerk.
So the bottom line is, while you were away,
yeah,
you were served,
yeah,
or you received the paperwork indicating that you owe child support.
Yes.
It's do or die time. With the tension peaking, Mr. Morris and Ms. Smith throw down their final heart-tugging pleas to the court, with Morris explaining his MIA dad status due to his wild personal life. Brace for impact, because the biggest bombshell is just around the corner.
Ms. Brister, as you talk about the various stories your mother told you, is there anything you'd like to say say to your mother about how these stories have affected you, affected you?
It's just confusing. I mean, I want to know for me and for my children, just for things that he couldn't be a part of in my life.
Hold on to your hats. Here comes the shocker. As the climax hits, Judge Lake unveils the DNA test results, and boom!
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Morris.
Yes, Sean.
You are not her father.
What?
Mrs. Scott McCrae isn't pulling any punches. She accuses her daughter, Mrs. Scott, of relying on her financially due to her husband's lackluster performance as a provider. She's demanding a hefty $3,900 in unpaid loans back. The audience can't help but gasp at the audacity, and you can cut the tension with a knife as Mrs. Scott McCrae lays it all out there. Can you believe this? And guess what? It only gets more bonkers from here.
Miss Scott McCrae, you are suing your daughter for $3,900 in unpaid loans.
Yes, Ron.
Miss Scott, you say your mother was an addict when you were younger and now tries to act holier than thou.
Yeah.
You believe that your mother is jealous of you and wants your husband.
Oh boy, it's heating up now. Amidst fiery exchanges, Ms. Scott McCrae labels her son-in-law a total deadbeat, slamming him for not being able to hold down a job and keep the cash flowing. The accusations fly thick and fast, with Miss Scott jumping to her hubby's defense, showcasing the deep cracks and financial woes tearing at the fabric of their family life. Stick around, because you ain't seen nothing yet.
He has a job.
When
he
did
just
he
got
get
a
it?
job.
Last week?
It doesn't matter
And
when
how long
he
is
got
he
it.
gonna
He's
keep
working.
it? 2 weeks?
Miss Scott McCrae.
How long is he gonna keep it?
Just let it be known, Mom. Wish you had a man like him, and
my
that's why you claim him to be a deadbeat, because that's what you're used to having, and that's what you want me to have. You're after him. They're my man.
Miss Scott McCrae.
And just when you think they might take a breather, nope, the spotlight shifts to the daily chaos of their home life. Picture this. The son-in-law, Toy, decides to polish off all the cereal and milk, leaving zilch for the kiddos. This little breakfast debacle turns out to be a perfect metaphor for the ongoing drama about responsibility and care, or the lack thereof, sparking a full-blown courtroom melee. Trust me, you'll want to see what happens next.
He was laid off. If a job runs out of work, they lay you off.
But your daughter and her husband decided that maybe it was more financially beneficial for him to quit his job so that he could take care of the kids. Isn't that a family decision?
When you're getting evicted every 6 to 7 months, it shouldn't be a family decision.
Grab your popcorn, folks. As if the family saga couldn't get more tangled, Ms. Scott confronts her mom over some seriously questionable antics with her husband. She throws around accusations of inappropriate behavior and hidden attractions. Yikes! This not only throws a wrench in their relationship, but also splashes their dirty laundry all over the public domain. And just when you think it can't get any more intense, the next revelation is a real jaw-dropper.
Then let's ask her to help us with the rent. We were 2 months behind. We needed to give him $1,200. I went to my mother and told her, we got half in cash. Can you meet me the other half of the way so we all still have a place to live? She told me, yes. I'll take y'all cash and give you a check for the full amount. My landlord called me and said, well, this check I'm at the bank and it's not going through. It's not clearing.
I didn't have to pay your bill, Celeste.
But you agreed to, and your grandchildren were involved.
I agreed to pay.
Here comes Mr. Young, the man of the hour, jumping into the fray to defend his honor against the relentless deadbeat Diggs. He lays out the complex web of financial dependencies and expectations straining their family ties, offering a glimpse into the real struggles they face. This is more than just family drama. It's a full-blown financial soap opera. Don't go anywhere, because the plot thickens in just a moment.
Well, a lot has been said about you, and I want to know you have to add to this.
She always touching me on my chest.
What chest?
She always patting on me. She always saying, you more than I can't get my son or the man I'm sleeping with to do. Came out the blue one day to even come and get me by myself for her.
A $30
that
tent,
her grown
from
son
Family Dollar.
and the man she's sleeping with in the same house.
They were all there when he put that tent up.
Are you ready for the big reveal? The much anticipated lie detector results are in, and boy, do they deliver a bombshell.
You said no.
No.
And the lie detector determined that was the truth.
Yes, it was.
Miss Scott, you were asked if you want a sexual relationship with your son-in-law, Toy.
Made my head hurt.
You said no, and the lie detector determined that was the truth.
Yes, it was.
Okay. All right.
So, Ms. Johnson storms into the courtroom with all the drama of a season finale, claiming Mr. Rice is the father of her 6-month-old son. She's totally fired up, accusing him of ghosting her and the baby. She's super determined to prove paternity today, airing out her frustrations and intentions in front of the judge like it's her personal reality show. The courtroom is buzzing.
Ms. Johnson, you have summoned the defendant to court today to prove that he fathered your 6-month-old son, Jeremiah. You are furious that he never met your baby and plan to prove paternity today. today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Rice, you say you are 100% certain you are not her child's biological father, and you claim to know who is.
Then, Mr. Reese claps back hard. He's like, nope, not my kid, denying the claims with all the certainty of someone who's just aced a lie detector test. He even drops another guy's name into the mix, stirring up the plot soup. This moment is pure soap opera gold, setting the stage for all the emotional and legal fireworks that are about to go off.
He hasn't been there since I was 2 months pregnant, actually.
Mr. Rice, you haven't seen the baby not once. You haven't come to see the baby once.
No, Your Honor. Why would I come see a baby that I don't believe is mine? I have my doubts for a reason.
Ms. Johnson isn't having any of it, though. She brings up how Mr. Rice has been MIA since she mentioned the 2 pink lines. She's laying it on thick, making sure everyone knows just how uninvolved he's been. Meanwhile, Mr. Rice is on defense mode, arguing why should he be dad to a kid he doesn't believe is his. It's like watching a tennis match of accusations.
We were friends prior to that, but it went further than expected. We had sex, and I found out I was pregnant in September.
Back when we first met, back in high school, I've always had a crush on her. You know, when she needed something, you know, I would be there for her. Even when she needed a shoulder to cry on, I was just that person to be there.
Let's take a quick flashback to the origins of this hot mess. Turns out, Ms. Johnson turned to Mr. Rice for some comfort after a bad breakup, which led to what she thought was a rebound fling, turning into a baby-making sesh. Here's the scoop on their rocky romance, adding some juicy backstory to the current paternity showdown. Bet you didn't see that coming.
So you all start having a sexual relationship?
Yes,
Yes,
Your Honor.
How long did it last?
It lasted about 2 months.
Three?
2 to 3 months.
Tell me what happened when you found out you were pregnant.
I had just a regular doctor's appointment. I wasn't feeling good, and when I got in there, she said, she was like, Miss Johnson, you're pregnant. And I was like, what?
Picture this. Ms. Johnson's at the docks, finds out she's pregnant, and she's over the moon thinking Mr. Rice will be too, because you know, they'd chatted about having mini-mez someday. But oh boy, did things take a nosedive when reality hit. It's like expecting a rom-com ending and getting a thriller twist instead.
Me and Mr. Rice had already talked about, you know, he said he wanted kids. I didn't think it was a problem. I thought he would be happy that I was pregnant. And he was happy. Then I don't know.
Then what?
I got in my feelings and I broke up with her. I think it was more, we broke up.
Twist alert. Mr. Rice actually seemed thrilled about the baby news at first, but then, plot twist, Ms. Johnson mentions the baby could also be her ex's. Cue the dramatic music. This bombshell adds layers of doubt and leads to their epic breakup. Seriously, could this get any more tangled?
How does she tell you that she's
Well,
pregnant?
first of all, I had left my phone in my brother's car. I was at school.
Okay.
And he came and told me about it. And then I got on the phone with her, and she told me.
How did he tell you it was on your phone?
Because she was calling my phone.
Oh, she was
I messaged his friend because I knew him just like he knew him. So I messaged him and was like, have you seen Mr. Rice? And he was like, he hasn't seen him, but when he does, he'll tell him. I told him to tell him I was pregnant, and he told her.
Just when you think it can't get more dramatic, Mr. Rice finds out he's all clear of any STDs, which contradicts Ms. Johnson's story of them being exclusive. This sparks even more doubts about the whole paternity and fidelity scenario. It's like a reality check that hits harder than a morning alarm.
I go to about 1 doctor's appointment with her. And after that, she tells me she has an STD. I say, okay. So I go to the doctor, I get checked, I take the medicine. But the doctor calls me the next day and tells me, sir, you don't have an STD at all.
That doesn't make sense to me at all, Your Honor.
If it doesn't make sense,
I wasn't having sex with anybody but him during the time. So there was no way that he didn't have it.
Here's Mr. Rice playing detective, breaking down the pregnancy timeline like he's solving a mystery on a crime show. He's pointing out all these date discrepancies that could hint at another man being involved. It's like he's piecing together a puzzle, except it's a baby's paternity on the line.
And so, Mr. Rice, I can imagine that only furthers your doubt hearing this testimony, even if you've never heard it before.
And I want to tell you about my DNA test doubt.
Step up to the monitor.
Well, Miss Johnson called me on the day Jeremiah was born. And she told me I could come up there and I could get my DNA test done, you know, whatever I needed to do. I said, okay, I will come up there when I get off of work.
Buckle up, folks, because here comes the big reveal. The judge is about to drop the DNA test results, and the tension in the courtroom is thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. This is the moment everyone's been waiting for, where all questions will be answered and destinies decided. Grab your popcorn. This is gonna be good.
It's time to get down to the bottom of this. Jerome, I'm ready for the results. These results paired by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows.
And boom, DNA results are in.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Rice. You are the father.
The drama kicks off smoothly as everyone settles into their seats. The court session begins with the judge allowing everyone to be seated and the case being introduced as Tory Henderson v. Goodson. The introduction sets the stage for the complex interpersonal dynamics about to be unraveled. Buckle up because you're in for a wild ride.
Ms. Tory and Ms. Henderson, you have both entered the court today with cases against the defendant, Mr. Goodson. You have joined together because you, Ms. Tory, claim the defendant is denying he is the father of your 2 kids. And Ms. Henderson.
As Ms. Henderson spins her tale, the plot thickens and the crowd chuckles. The narrative of Ms. Henderson's prior interactions with Mr. Goodson's cousin is shared, involving social outings and ambiguous romantic signals. The recounting of these events brings humor and disbelief into the courtroom as she reveals the complexities of their relationships. Hold on to your hats, because this soap opera has more twists than a pretzel.
So one day he came to pick me up in a white car, a white truck or whatever. He in the back car, like looking at me like, ooh, he wanted me or whatever. He come calling me like, what's up, baby? I'm like, who is this? He like, this chubby. Oh, you don't remember the dude in the back of the car? I think you cute.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more ludicrous, enter the stolen car saga. The episode takes a dramatic turn when Ms. Henderson describes being picked up in a stolen car by Mr. Goodson, leading to a police intervention. This anecdote underscores the reckless behavior and questionable decisions surrounding their relationships. And you thought your dating life was complicated.
So he come picks me up in the stolo. I'm looking out the window. He like, yeah, boo, I'm outside. Next thing you know, here come the police like, freeze, get out the car. It's really right.
I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing
I believe
about
because one day his mama said he stole her car to come and see me.
Mr. Thomas steps up and the courtroom's curiosity peaks. He is brought into the courtroom to clarify his brief relationship with Ms. Henderson, which he describes as a one-night stand, complicating the paternity issue with Mr. Goodson. This testimony highlights the intertwined and casual relationships among the parties. Who knew the dating pool was this entangled?
Now, Mr. Thomas, what was your relationship with Ms. Henderson?
It's just like a friendship, one-night thing, you know how it be, some nights.
Oh my gosh.
I said it just
A little louder.
It's like a one-night thing, you know how it be, some nights you might get drunk.
Right.
Okay, so it was a one-night stand.
Miss Tory doesn't hold back, pouring her heart out and steering the pot further. The emotional strain and interpersonal conflicts reach a peak when Miss Tory discusses the negative impact of Mr. Goodson's denial and alleged infidelities on their children. Her emotional statement underscores the real stakes of the paternity disputes. Next up, let's hear from the peanut gallery. Any takers?
You have 2 kids that you claim he's not taking care of.
Right.
Why do you think he's denying?
I don't know. He got insecurities. He been saying I've been cheating ever since we met each. I even got his name tattooed on my neck. Like, how can you cheat on somebody like that?
That's his name on your neck?
Yeah.
Things take a sober turn as Mr. Goodson's mother steps into the fray with some hard truths. The court hears from Mr. Goodson's mother, who expresses her disappointment in her son's irresponsible behavior, particularly regarding his role as a father. Her passionate plea emphasizes the generational impact of such familial disputes. Mama has spoken, folks. Let's see if that shakes some sense into him.
Now you shut up. You shut up. You shut up. When I see y'all on the internet, all 3 of y'all baby mama.
What about your son here? Because
he ain't no, you know what? He ain't no angel either, baby. He ain't no angel.
Is he just not thinking?
Pop up,
He's not thinking.
When the next baby pop up, you gonna say, oh, I believe you. If he said it ain't his.
We're gonna go get a paternity test.
Drum roll, please. The paternity test results are in, and boy, do they deliver a bombshell.
It has been determined that when it comes to 4-year-old Lazasia, Mr. Goodson, you are the father.
Yeah.
I don't think I have to say much because your mother has said it all.
Yes, Your Honor. The tension in the courtroom is like a scene straight out of a legal drama. Mr. Horn is on the hot seat, accused of being the father of Ms. Mannion's 29-year-old son, Andrew. This claim has its roots tangled up in a crazy weekend 30 years ago. Horn's adamant he's not the dad, pinning his hopes on a DNA test to clear his name. Ms. Mannion, however, is absolutely sure that Horn is the father. And just when you think things couldn't get any more heated, buckle up, because the drama is just getting started.
Mr. Horn, you had a wild weekend 3 decades ago and now find yourself in court to prove that you are not the biological father of Ms. Mannion's 29-year-old son, Andrew.
Yes, ma'am.
You will meet him for the very first time in a moment, but say today's DNA test will prove you are not his dad.
Did that really just happen? Horn spills the tea about how he first crossed paths with Mannion at a wild bash, where she was quite forward, to say the least. He claims to have blacked out, waking up to find Mannion making bold moves, a story she vehemently denies, insisting it was Horn who played the Casanova. Their clashing accounts paint a messy picture of the night they supposedly supposedly created Andrew. And guess what? There's another curveball coming up next.
I want to understand how all this started.
We were at a party. She showed up. I didn't really have a clue who she was. We started chatting. She kept coming on to me. She kept coming on to me. The more we drank, I drank quite a bit. Passed out. I woke up to the best alarm clock ever.
Oh, no. I do not do that kind of stuff.
Yes, you did.
I'm sorry. No, I did not.
This testimony is a total game changer. Enter Andrew Haight, the supposed son, who takes the stand and drops his own tale of family mystery. He talks about growing up clueless, thinking his grandparents and then his mom's hubby were his real parents, only to have his world rocked as a teen, learning they weren't his biological folks. This bombshell paves the way for a massive paternity puzzle. Don't go anywhere. The emotional roller coaster is just getting started.
Your son Andrew is here. Ron, can you please grab Mr. Haight? Thank you for joining us today.
No problem.
We are here trying to get some answers for you. Who did your mother lead you to believe was your biological father from the beginning?
I considered them my mom and dad, and I kept calling her Christina.
Okay.
I ended up going to live with her at the age of 5.
Get ready to grab your tissues. As the DNA results are about to drop, Andrew throws out a heart-melting wish to keep Horn in his life, DNA be damned, hoping Horn might step up as an older bro, if not as a dad. This touching moment underlines Andrew's deep longing for family ties in the midst of this paternity whirlwind. The big reveal is on its way, and it's going to shake things up.
I'm hoping that I actually have found my father.
So since you were 12 years old, you've been carrying the name Kevin Horn in the back of your mind.
Correct.
This very moment is the first time you've ever laid eyes on him.
That is correct.
Other than
a picture on the internet when I found the information. My grandmother lost all the information that he gave her, so I did investigative work myself.
You won't believe this bombshell. The DNA test comes back, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Horn, you are his father.
The courtroom drama is thick enough to cut with a knife as the judge kicks things off. Everyone is asked to park their rears as the explosive case of Mitchell versus Dalton roars to life. Strap in. This is just the beginning of a real legal roller coaster.
You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Mitchell versus Dalton.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Mr. Mitchell, you are petitioning the court for 2 DNA tests to determine if you are the father of your estranged wife's 2 children.
Grab your tissues because Deshaun's about to take us on an emotional roller coaster. With a quiver in his voice, he lays bare the heartache stemming from Ms. Dalton's walkout. The poor guy and the kids have been through the ringer, and every eye in the room is glued to Ms. Dalton for her comeback.
The last 7, 8, 9 months, she done made us struggle. She done walked out on us, Your Honor. I get very emotional when it comes to talking about my kids and talking to my kids because
that's understandable.
Like I said, she done put us through hell and back. She just don't care, Your Honor. So I just want to know the paternity of my kids just for my sake, Your Honor.
Deshaun isn't just here to play court. He's here to win hearts and minds, demonstrating his undying commitment to his children. Choking back tears, he talks about sticking it out for his boys, despite the backstabbing and the nagging doubts about who's really their daddy. Brace yourselves. A plot twist is incoming.
I really don't, Your Honor. And like I said, she's running back and forth and she's cheating and this and that, Your Honor. If she wants a divorce, Your Honor, I got these divorce papers. We could go ahead and divorce it and keep it moving. I can keep it moving and continue to go with my kids, Your Honor, like I've been doing the last.
Get ready for a heartbreaker as Deshaun recounts the day Ms. Dalton bailed. It's a gut punch story, complete with kids and food stamps handed off before she hit the road. But wait, there's more. Destiny's got her side of the story, and it's a doozy.
She's in and out of the home, and you have the boy.
Yes, Your Honor. What she did is she left with another man. She just came home one day, Your Honor, and just said, here go your kids, take the kids, take the food stamp card, and just walked out and
Your
just
Honor,
left.
That's not what happened.
And so
now Destiny's in the hot seat trying to clean up her act. She's on the defense about her financial input and why she jetted, pointing fingers at Deshaun's lack of support. The courtroom is buzzing, and just when you think you've seen it all, the judge jumps in with some wisdom.
He didn't work, he gambled, he
Your Honor,
didn't do anything
Your Honor,
that he was supposed to do
Let her finish her testimony. I'll give you a chance to respond.
As a husband and as a father, if we were going to work together and do things, and like I said, it was something that I was bearing on me by myself alone, and he didn't care about it. I just got tired.
But he's raising the children.
Yes, Your Honor.
The judge isn't just a figurehead. He's dropping knowledge bombs about what being being a parent really means. While tipping his hat to Deshaun's efforts, he reminds everyone that it's all part of the parental job description. The air's thick with anticipation as deeper truths about their union are unveiled.
But it's also what a parent does.
Yes, Your Honor. You're absolutely right.
You get it done.
Whatever she calls her eloping or whatever she calls herself doing, I don't know what she does. She has these spurts and these moments where she feels that if we get into an argument, it's okay for her to stay out all night or to stay gone for a week.
Age is more than just a number in this courtroom drama. The judge points out the eyebrow-raising age gap and the tender years at which Destiny tied the knot. As the audience murmurs, the stage is set for even more jaw-dropping revelations.
How long have you been married?
2 years.
2 years.
So you got married when you were 19?
Correct.
I'd like to first examine, Mr. Mitchell, the doubt, because you say when she leaves you with 2 boys.
Yes, ma'am.
And you don't even know if they're your biological children.
Yes, ma'am.
Deshaun's on the stand again, and he's not mincing words about his paternity fears. A shady phone call with an old flame of Destiny's has him questioning if he's really the dad of their first champ, Deshaun Jr. The tension is thick enough to slice, and everyone's on the edge of their seats.
During this time, you had this phone call.
Yes, Your Honor.
You believe she was sleeping with this man.
Yes, Your Honor.
Also with you, this is when Deshaun was conceived. Did this man say to you, I could be the father?
He said it's a possibility that she's pregnant. That's what he said.
Wait, was this before or after you knew she was pregnant?
This before I even knew.
Really?
Yes,
So you
Your Honor.
get on the phone with this man and he tells you that your girlfriend may be pregnant?
Yes, Your Honor.
Just when you think it couldn't get juicier, Destiny admits to another round of love life foul play post-baby. Yep, she had a fling with a coworker, which only adds fuel to Deshaun's fire of doubt about baby number 2, Bishop. The emotional stakes are through the roof, and the DNA results are up next.
Were you out and about supposedly for
I
work,
went to
Miss
the
Gold?
movies one time, and this is after we had our son Deshaun. I went out to the movies, yes I did. He was doing what he was doing, and there was, like I said, there was things going back and forth. We weren't getting along. So yes, I did cheat with the guy, and I'm not saying that I didn't.
Your Honor, I came home one day, Your Honor. This guy is sitting on my couch, Your Honor.
On your couch?
And she done made dinner or lunch, whatever you want to call it, for this guy.
As the DNA drama peaks, the future of their relationship hangs by a thread. Deshaun ponders the what-ifs of the paternity results, questioning whether their marriage can weather this storm. The courtroom holds its breath for the big reveal.
So what if one or both of these children are not your biological child? Then where do we go from here?
Well, I wouldn't want to split the kids apart, Your Honor. I would still be in the kids' life. I just need to know.
And if both children aren't yours, can this marriage survive?
No, it's no way.
The DNA verdict is in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Mitchell, you are Deshaun's father.
Ron, the ever-eloquent court clerk, sets the stage for the showdown of Jenkins versus Bond. Everyone's exchanging formal greetings with a dash of cheeky warmth, like a bizarre family reunion. And trust me, you won't want to miss the juicy details that are about to unfold.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
This is a case of Jenkins v. Bond.
Thank you, Ron. Good day, everyone. Mr. Jenkins, you reached out to the court to open a case. You believe that you have a long-lost daughter and hoped to one day find her to prove you are her father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Enter Ms. Bond, taking her place behind the left podium like it's the final rose ceremony. Judge Lake welcomes her, then dives right into the drama, probing her knowledge of Mr. Jenkins. Ms. Bond is all skepticism and side eyes, claiming she's never heard of this supposed dad. The evidence she whips out next could turn this courtroom into a reality TV goldmine.
Just as evidence, his name isn't even on my birth certificate.
Ron, can you pass me that evidence, please? So you don't believe he's your father?
No, Your Honor.
Because you've never heard of him?
Never heard of him. No one has ever spoken of him. I've never seen any pictures. My mother never even spoke of him, brought him up in no conversations whatsoever.
As the tension thickens, Ms. Bond pulls out the big guns, her birth certificate. Plot twist. Jenkins' name is MIA on the daddy list. The judge scrutinizes the document handed over by Ron, while Ms. Bond stands firm on her non-paternity stance. Jenkins' response? Get ready for some Emmy-worthy emotional theatrics.
Under father, legal name, nothing is recorded. But you were raised by a man that you believe, you were told, was your biological father.
He died in a car accident in 1999 with my mother, and I believe that that was my father.
Cue the violins because Mr. Jenkins is about to take us on a field trip down memory lane. He passionately recounts his love saga with Ms. Bond's mom and his unwavering belief in his fatherhood. He even has an ultrasound picture as his ace evidence. The judge's face, a masterpiece of suspense.
No one's ever told me anything.
And Mr. Jenkins have known about this young woman all her life.
I've been looking for her over 24 years, Your Honor. Me and her mother was in college together. I'm telling you, she was banging. I mean, she was bad. I mean, she had a nice big back porch on her. After pink jumpsuit on.
Now brace yourself for a heart-wrencher. Ms. Bond shares her tear-jerking backstory of orphanhood and her battle with life's harsh curveballs, including a quest to regain her children's custody. The courtroom is all ears and sniffles. Jenkins' next move? It's a heart-melter for sure.
Miss Bond, after your mom passed and your dad, who took care of you?
A relative on my mother's side.
Did you know she was there?
Yes.
I'd like to hear more about what life was like after your mom and dad passed away for you, because now you're growing up without your parents.
I felt alone. You know, I didn't have anyone to talk to. I didn't have anyone. I lost my mother.
Take your time.
Just as you're reaching for the tissues, Mr. Jenkins steps up like a hero in a Hallmark movie. He promises to play dad, no matter what the DNA says, aiming to mend fences and warm hearts. It's a grand speech that could soften even the stoniest judge.
No, you don't have to worry about that. See, because I'm a man, I'm gonna step up and do what I gotta do. My job is to protect you and to love you, you know.
And I missed that. I missed that growing up. I didn't have a father figure to tell me, you know, right from wrong, boys to date. I made a lot of wrong decisions and I made a lot of mistakes because I didn't have anyone there to guide me.
Well, you got me now. I want to love you.
Tension skyrockets as Jenkins details his decades-long search for Ms. Bond, venting about dead ends and cold trails. His determination is palpable, like a detective in a noir film, but with more family photos and fewer cigarettes. What happens next? Only the scriptwriters know.
I've been looking for you over 24 years.
Ron, let me see that evidence.
I'd like to submit this to the court. That's one of your numbers that I have. I had contacted Ms. Bond before.
I've never received a call.
Was that your phone number?
It might have been. I have so many numbers.
don't
I
remember.
really don't remember. I've never got a call. I've never got a text, a letter, nothing.
I've been Googling her. All these different sites. I've been doing all.
Doubts creep in as the plot thickens around Jenkins' past decisions. Why no wedding bells? With Ms. Bond's mom, Jenkins dives into a monologue full of regrets and what-ifs, adding layers to his troubled hero persona. The upcoming revelation will either break hearts or mend them.
How did it end? It seemed like you all were in love and you were having a baby and you got ultrasound pictures. What happened?
Outside people putting stuff in her head, turning her against me. The more I was trying to do things, we was both going to school.
I'm sorry, I still don't believe that's the reason to break up with someone, letting outside people get into your relationship. If you really loved her, you would have stayed, regardless of whatever was going on.
In a devastating twist, we learn Ms. Bond's mom reached out to Jenkins after years apart, only to die in a tragic accident before they could reunite. It's a storyline ripe for a country song, leaving the courtroom hanging on every word. The DNA test results up next. They might just break the internet.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Jenkins, you are her father.
The courtroom practically vibrates with anticipation as the gavel bangs and the show gets on the road. The judge, decked out in the traditional robe, motions for everyone to take a seat with a dramatic flourish and exchanges a series of ever-so-formal greetings with the gathered crowd. All rise for the case of Kennedy vs. Pope, booms the bailiff. Enter the players. Mr. Kennedy, firmly in the hot seat over the paternity of Ms. Pope's adorable 3-month-old son, Christian. Buckle up, folks. This drama's just getting started.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Kennedy versus...
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Mr. Kennedy, you claim to be a nice guy who was forced to make the tough decision to drag the defendant to court, prove you did not father her 3-month-old son, Christian. Ms. Pope, you and your mother are insulted that Mr. Kennedy denies paternity and refuse to acknowledge your child.
As the debate heats up, Mr. Kennedy takes a swipe at Ms. Pope's life choices, questioning her future plans, or the lack thereof. As a reason, he backed off. The crowd gasps and murmurs as the judge scolds them both for their laissez-faire attitude toward contraception. The judge's lecture on responsibility is stern enough to make anyone squirm. And guess what? There's more drama on the horizon.
No, a bad habit is sleeping with someone you barely know without using Protect. That's a bad habit. Now, I don't know if this young woman can be labeled a bad habit.
Yes, Your Honor.
You did make the decision to kind of pull back from this relationship. Says he starts being a jerk and not returning my calls. The truth is you were doing that.
Yeah.
The truth is inching closer, and boy, is it messy. The air is thick as Ms. Pope recounts the day she dropped the baby bomb on Mr. Kennedy. Tales differ wildly about who else might be the dad, which Mr. Kennedy uses to shield himself from the daddy title. Accusations of opacity throw another wrench in the works, making the paternity puzzle all the more perplexing. Brace yourselves. This roller coaster is hitting a loop.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
I didn't hear from her until after the child was born, saying, "You're the father."
I'm not about to beg for support.
Wait a minute, how did she tell you you were the father?
Through Facebook, I got messages.
Jerome, let me see those messages. It is your your testimony that she did not tell you she even had the baby until after the baby already here. She didn't tell you anything about the pregnancy, anything. You didn't hear from her until after the baby was born.
Yes, I had messaged him the night
and you
that
get
I went into
some
labor.
messages.
Emotions sky high when Ms. Pope reveals she sent Mr. Kennedy a Bobby pic on Facebook claiming Junior looked just like him. The plot twists. Mr. Kennedy remains skeptical, haunted by the ghost of potential daddy's past. The judge, now playing referee, emphasizes honesty in untangling this family feud. Don't touch that remote. The climax is just around the corner.
And you sent a picture of the baby.
Yes, it looks just like him.
So when you saw this message, Mr. Kennedy, what did you think?
Asked her straight point blank, are you sure it's mine? Because the last information I was given, there were 2 other gentlemen involved. I'm gonna be the father I never had. So
If that's your promise, where is it at then?
You didn't tell me until after the child was born.
Showing up
How am I
one
supposed to
time
know
is
it's
not
my
enough.
child? You told me there were 2 gentlemen involved.
You were never involving yourself to begin with.
Prepare for jaw-dropping revelations. The courtroom drama escalates as both parties hash out the post-birth blues. Ms. Pope accuses Mr. Kennedy of playing the vanishing act, while he defends his honor, pledging to step up if the DNA fits. It's a tug of war over who's more responsible for the tiny human in question. Things are about to get even juicier.
I have paternity papers and everything ready for him to sign.
But I have the result, and that's going to determine whether or not he should execute those papers.
Yeah, he never came to my door and said, I'm ready to figure this out. Let's go do this. Let's get this done.
This is it, the moment of truth everyone's been waiting for. The paternity test envelope is opened, and bam.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Kennedy, you are the father.